Hey guys, how's it going? Nash Warfield here with another episode of Significantly Square Leadership. And today I have the honor to be with Mrs. Tiffany Taylor Smith. Yes. And Tiffany is the founder of Culture Learning Partners. Mm-hmm. It is a diversity consulting firm here in Hillside, New Jersey. So Tiffany, thanks so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Actually, me and Tiff have an awesome history. I've known Tiffany for like 24 years, something like that. Yes. We go back to the 90s. We worked together at Procter & Gamble, so long time ago. Shout out to all my P&G people, Mark Tatum, Troy Datcher, Tracy Chambly, what's going on? So, so me and Tiff, we've known each other a long time. It's really great to see you. So, Tiff, tell me, obviously, tell me what you've been doing since P&G. Tell me about your background and what has led you to Culture Learning Partners. What's the Tiffany Taylor Smith story?
This is the version. So working for P&G was a wonderful opportunity to really kind of give me space to figure out exactly what it was that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I always knew that psychology was my major at the University of Rochester. Mm-hmm. Knew that I wanted to work with people. Right. HR was like, I'm going to work at HR. Interned at Xerox, interned at Procter & Gamble, mm-hmm. Interned at General Motors. This was like, high school and college. Right. Went to work for P&G, started working, and was like, I don't really know if sales is really my heart. Right. In the midst of that, within 3 years, did my master's at Fordham in education, and really felt like psychology was still calling me. Okay. And wanted to do HR, had an opportunity to go into diversity recruiting and training with the company, and did that. Met you, managing the intern program, which is phenomenal, and college recruiting. So that was an exciting piece of work. But really felt like diversity was calling me in ways that selling Tide wasn't. Yeah,
I can relate to that. Like, is your life better because you have bounty in your kitchen? Couldn't say it was. Right. That's right.
And Procter & Gamble was good to me. It was good to my family. We had wonderful opportunities, made some great friends, many of whom I'm still connected to this day. Sure. I mean, you know the ways in which P&G people go on to do things after they leave the company. Yeah. Like, we can name where they are, what they're doing, what organizations, or that they've started their own companies. That's right. But I really was. It had gotten to the point. I went to Cincinnati, and I was like, there's something else, and it's not this.
And you're originally from Ohio, right?
I'm originally from Ohio.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm thankful. My mom and I laugh about this all the time because I literally moved back home. I moved in my parents' home. Right. And many of my P&G colleagues were angry because I would get off work, drive home, and dinner would be ready. I didn't have to grocery shop. I didn't have to get my daughter ready for school. Yeah. I didn't do anything. I just got up and went to work and came home. It was like I had a nanny and all kind of love and everything. So all I had to do was keep my room clean and pay my rent every month.
That's so funny.
But it was good because it was a good time to do some diversity work that I wanted to be doing. There and have an opportunity to really network with people who were doing the work, and there were some folks that I was able to get connected with to do some certification training around diversity work. Okay. So Visions was an organization out of Massachusetts, and was able to get certified with them, and it was just like, okay, this is it, sick of forking me, I'm done. So I really want to do this work and do it on a larger scale. And one of the things that I realized, I wanted to get people before they get to that state of life. Like, before they get into their career or their professional job, what are some of the experiences they need to have so they're effective and they don't need diversity training? Like, what would that look like? So it was like, where is that? Schools and homes. Right. Okay. So that was where, and I had no experience in working in schools. I had been in corporate all my, high school and college and 10 years after college. So it was really like starting new. And on top of that, we relocated back to New Jersey. Okay. So I'm coming back to New Jersey, no connections in schools. Right. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. Right. So thankfully, grassroots, networking, going to different things. And, I tell everybody, you may have to do some free things to get started.
Absolutely. That's right.
And thankfully, there were opportunities where I would, speak, or I would work with a client, not charge what I would normally charge. Sure, and you're building your resume. Right. But it was
getting those testimonials, getting those referrals, very important.
Exactly. And it was word of mouth. Go here, go there, speak here. And thankfully, 15 years later, I'm at a point where I have a solid base of clients. It's continuing to grow. Right. And I'm constantly looking for new ways to engage with nice. And really continuing to narrow down my niche.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, I knew it was schools. And I had, community organizations and still want to do business because I have a corporate background. I know that work still needs to get done.
Sure.
But really felt like it was about helping people understand themselves, but also understanding how to work and to engage with others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as difficult as it may be for some people, for me it was more than a tolerance. Tolerance to me was like, I won't tolerate you.
Right.
I don't necessarily like you or want to be around you.
Right.
I won't tolerate you.
Right.
And it's like, So it's really about appreciating
mm-hmm.
someone else. Now, and I'm real clear, not everybody wants to be in that space, but at minimum, if you can help kids kind of understand themselves, but also have experiences,
right?
Because that's really what it is. If I've never had contact with somebody that looks like you, and I come in contact with you in either high school or college or even in the workforce, I've already got all these tapes playing in my head about what I think you are or who I think you are.
That's right.
And a big piece of my work really is around culture learning partners. How do we help people learn about themselves as well as other people?
Sure.
So I've been really thankful to be able to continue to do that work in schools, have community organizations that I support, as well as business opportunities and building training that helps people look at their culture, but also look at the experiences so it's a big piece of cultural competence,
right?
And in the last year or two, really looking at this notion of implicit bias and microaggressions, and really trying to help disrupt some of those tapes. And I say tapes to people of a certain age, and they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
You can rewind and re-record or delete.
Right.
I say that to my kids, and they're like,
tapes.
Tapes?
Gotta know your target. Gotta know your audience.
Yes,
gotta know your audience.
Exactly.
Right.
And we get a good laugh at that, even when I say that in workshops, and people are like, "Yeah, okay, we know about tapes."
Right.
So, but we all have those tapes stored in our head of different experiences, different groups of people, and many of those experiences are not conscious to us. So there's a lot of things that we store that can get in the way of us engaging with people who are different, particularly if we don't have a series of personal contact, one-on-one experiences that really help us have different messages in our head.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And obviously it's so timely because clearly, you look at the news every day and obviously what's going on today. Yeah. So, and that's really, it's a great kind of segue. How has the news of today and everything going on with race in this country and diversity in this country, how has that impacted what you do and how has it, allow you to, has it helped you? Has it, given you something to then go in and speak to students about? Like, what is this whole, national discussion around race? How has that really impacted what you're doing?
One of the things that I'm so thankful for is the opportunity to have conversations with people who may not have been open to having those conversations before. So that's one. And even more so, educators and parents are really realizing like, okay, I really do need to talk to my kids about this stuff. Right. And this past summer was unbelievable. And you thinking one group of people has a perception about Black Lives Matter, another one has another perception, and it's like, okay, are we all seeing the same things?
Right, sure.
Like, and that, we bring our own tapes into this space. Yeah. And fortunately, working with parents and working with schools, they really are trying to figure out, okay, how do we do this? This is tough.
Right.
These are tough cultural conversations.
Yeah.
And if you grew up in a home or in an era where you just didn't talk about it,
right.
You knew this stuff was going on, but you didn't have those conversations because it wasn't polite, or you were afraid, or it was awkward and uncomfortable, and just don't say bad. You don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
But we don't have tools and we don't have a way into those conversations. So I'm finding, which thankfully more and more adults as well as students are much further along than we are. Yeah. So really it's about trying to help teachers and parents
That's right.
build their repertoire. But parents are much more engaged, and even racially, I think. I just had this conversation with the diversity director yesterday, and what has happened in this time, literally right now, is there were a majority of folks who felt like when President Obama was elected that we were in this post-racial society. And many of us, particularly people of color, were like, I don't think so. Like, that's great, and we're truly excited to be alive and to have our children see this.
Right.
But there's still post-racial society. There's still a deep undercurrent of racism and social injustice in this country. Yeah. And what this time period, this election process has done, unfortunately and fortunately, has shown people that there is a lot of deep-seated racism in this country.
Sure. Yeah.
And I have many colleagues and friends. Sound like that? Oh, white friends. But many of my colleagues and friends are like, it's been very eye-opening in ways that not everyone has had that awareness.
Right.
To.
Yeah. No,
so
absolutely.
the Facebook page really has created space for people to have, and it there as well as just in other settings where people are like, we really do need to talk about it. Yeah,
right.
We do.
Right. So yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because it's funny. Like I play in softball leagues where I'm like the only African American in the whole league, and and obviously this whole summer was the whole beginning of the Colin Kaepernick controversy, and so it was like everybody against me. It's just like you don't understand. Like this is a serious issue that he's bringing light to, and it's funny now that he's gotten more acceptance in the last 2 months that since it started. And it really is. It's just such an interesting dichotomy of again, like people that you interact with. And I always just say this, especially for if you're not a person of color, you can literally go your entire day and not interact with anybody, of color at all, and so that affects those tapes, that affects those those mindsets that you have. So yeah, very, very, very important to have those conversations. So definitely, which obviously speaks to. Obviously, the whole channel is about living a life of significance, right? And so what does that mean to you, Tiffany? To live a life of significance, to make a difference in the world. Why is that important to you? And how do you look at that in the lens of what you're doing to really make a difference?
This was a big thing for me as I was in that as a Christian calling my come to Jesus moment when I was in Cincinnati, and I really there were days when I would just go to the bathroom and just cry because it was like I am miserable. I'm not happy. I don't necessarily like what I'm doing. Right. I know God did not put me here for this. Sure. I know there is something else that I need to be doing, and I want to go do that. Right. Using the skills and talents that He's blessed me with. So it was that piece and really being open to listening, and I knew it was around bringing people together. Like I've known that probably since I was a kid. My parents would attest to that as well. They used to call me like the class social worker. But it was really about working with people to just help them really see each other and get all that other stuff out of the way. Right. And I'm real clear that there are people who carry explicit bias that just will not like you and I because of how you look or because that I'm a woman or because I'm a Christian or whatever that is. Like that, I'm going to continue to pray for that and do my work and hope that there'll be people who begin to go deeper than that. Right. But I want to get at those who haven't formed those biases or those deep-seated stereotypes and prejudices. And what I know to be true is when kids have opportunities to learn about themselves, to evaluate and appreciate who they are, but also build those relationships with other people, they have a different way of engaging with people. Right. And so when they go to college or high school or even, as they progress in their education, they don't carry the same things that, and you and I have, we have bias. It's just it's a way of life. Yeah. But as we continue to disrupt some of that and dismantle it, their perspective, I want them to see that I'm brown. Don't discount it. Say, oh, I don't see the color. Yeah, I want you to see that. You have to see a rainbow. Right. If you can see a rainbow.
Always when people say, oh, I don't care if they're black or brown or purple or blue. There are no purple and blue people. It drives me nuts when people say that. There are no green people. Show me the green people. Right. There are no green people.
It doesn't. And the reality is, if you are able to see color, you see the color. You see that the rainbow is beautiful. Right. And so it really, for me, if I spend my life helping people appreciate who they are and learn to appreciate others, I feel like I've done what God has asked me to do. And at the end of the day, when you talked about the significantly square leadership, I was like, that's, and that's me. Right. And, my kids often laugh if we're out somewhere and somebody just makes a totally just obscene comment to somebody else. Right. And they'll just look at me like, don't take the power out. Let it play out. This is not our business. Leave it alone. But,
here's a CD for you. Don't you listen to this?
Have you thought about what you just said to that person? Like, where did you grow up? Do you have any frame of mind that was totally offensive and degrading to that person? Right. So, I pick my battles. Right. I always tell people, if it happens in my home, in my neighborhood, with my clients or friends and family, I'm just going to subtly, like, you might want to think about what you just said. Or where did that come from? And then that, my children will probably say there are those moments where they'll ask a question about, well, so now help me understand slavery, or now what exactly happened in Selma, and we'll talk about it. And I always tell parents, don't whip out the Google version of 12 pages of, well, let me tell you this. No. Yeah. Pick the top 2 bullets, say it, and wait. And if they look like they got it, they got it. Yeah. Don't go on, because then it'll be like, so what's for dinner? Like they just want little snippets.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's they live in a Vine culture, and everything is very, very quick. So
and they get it. They get it much faster than we do. And if it's a deeper conversation, we'll have that. But I even have to check myself sometime about how I'm gonna let's dive into this.
Right. Sure.
They don't want that version.
Yeah. So you mentioned a Facebook group. So Facebook group is called
#We Are US Cultures.
We Are US Cultures. Okay, and the goal of the Facebook group is to do what?
Oh man, I'm like I had actually a good friend who I met at a school who has been helping me with some of my writing, and she does a lot of my editing. And we were just trying to figure out, how do you do this? How do you bring groups of people together to have these conversations? And I really was trying to connect it to the book. And she's like, you should start a Facebook group, and that way you can kind of monitor it, as well as people have to kind of ask to be a part of it. And really, thankfully, we have over 300 people, and I started it like the beginning of September. And it's people, connecting people, and they're all over the country, and some in other countries. But we talk about race, we talk about class, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and people will post articles, will post questions, you can respond, and it's really about building cultural awareness. And I wake up some mornings like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. It's so cool. Because there was a period of time where it was like, I don't know how I'm going to manage the kids, how I'm going to manage doing my work, and stay up on social media. It was just incredibly overwhelming to me. So it took me about 2 years, really, because I look, when I go through my journal, I look at my notes, like, you've been talking about doing this for a minute, you know that, right? But it was all about timing. Things kind of come together, and you can keep at it, tenacity, persistence, and it's like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can do this, and it's exciting to see the conversations that people are, and I'm trying to keep up with it. Like, okay, I got to respond to what this person said, and people are just sharing some amazing things that are going on, and it's U.S. based, but there are also articles or links about something that happened in France or something that happened in actually London. I just posted something today, so it's nice because it's really about. There's so much going on we can't all possibly know. But if there's a place where people can come and being okay with asking questions. Like, if you really don't know, and we have some community norms, that if you ask a question, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to help you understand it. And we come with a sense of vulnerability as well as a sense of openness. And it's really about enriching our understanding and the lives that we have that we can influence within our own circle.
Awesome. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you and bring you in to speak at their school or their home organization, how can we find Tiffany?
You can find Tiffany at culturelearningpartners.com.
That's culture, CULTURE. Culture Partners.
I'm sorry, Culture Learning.
Yes, culturelearningpartners.com with an S. Culturelearningpartners.com. So definitely check out Tiffany and what she's doing. Obviously making a big difference. In this whole conversation that we have on race and how important it is that we really get to understand. A good friend of mine, Chuck Knippany, used to talk about diversity training, and he said diversity is it's about knowing people's stories. That's really all it is. Because we have so much more in common than we ever do as different. But unfortunately, we just focus so much on the differences. But it's diversity. It's just somebody whose story I don't know yet. And that's really what it is. So Tiffany, thank you so much for you and what you're doing and the passion that you have. And keep making it happen, keep making a difference.
You too. I'm proud of you as well. Thank you.
So again, Nash Warfield here, another episode of Significantly Square Leadership with Ms. Tiffany Taylor Smith of Culture Learning Partners, encouraging you to be a square, make a difference, live a life of significance. See you next time. Peace.